Yeah, I think we can start this webinar. I think most of you know that Dynamics, Microsoft releases platform updates for Dynamics products, eight platform updates a year, basically quite regularly. And it's very important to keep in touch with those updates because of one version, you have to update them. You're basically forced to update your environments. And in regards with that, you need to know what updates are introduced. So you would need to know how would they affect your solution. So basically, this webinar will handle this topic for you. Maybe you will learn a few new features that are introduced in during this year. So let's get started. Uh, yeah, this is me. As you can see, I am Edgaras Radvilas. I'm Senior Dynamics F&SCM Developer at Companion. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can contact me by writing an email or by contacting me on LinkedIn. And here is the agenda for today, for this webinar. First off, I would like to introduce Companion to you. I think most of you might know, but for others, I think it's important to know what we bring on the table. And next, we will jump to the topics. There are four different features that I selected for this year. The first one is vertically scrolling workspaces. The next one is new grid control capabilities for F&SCM. Then saved views, the no-code approach, basically some additional features for that one. And the last one is, one more. Yeah, the last one is running jobs with zero downtime to correct data inconsistencies. So that one is particularly interesting to me. So I will be more than thrilled to introduce that. And lastly, you will be able to ask questions. Basically, you can start asking questions now, and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, you can ask them on the right screen. There's a QA section, so enter your questions there. So yeah, let's start. This is Companion. So actually, it's a new name because it's two companies merged together. That happened this year at the beginning of the year. Basically, I was working on the one of the companies, which was called One Click Factory. Basically, it's a technical services company. So yeah, I'm working here for over 8 years, and now we have merged with QBS Group, and now we are here to be the most preferred community and center of expertise for every Dynamics professional. So yeah, we are here to join forces to make even better company that suits our partners' needs. And yeah, I think let's talk about a few of the statistics for our company. We have over 200 employees. We have over combined 2,000 years of Dynamics experience. It's pretty amazing when you think of it. Regarding F&O side, we have almost 20,000 hours of F&SCM development experience. And regarding the upgrades that we do constantly, combined with Business Central team, we have over 700 upgrades solutions implemented. And especially for them, the new updates are very important. So if you're thinking about doing some upgrades in the future, I think this webinar might be kind of useful for you to know what new features are introduced. Yeah, and lastly, we have over 1,000 Dynamics partners and 75 in 75 countries. So yeah, we are all over the world. So basically, you can contact us in any place. We are proud Microsoft Inner Circle member, official SMB ERP distributor. We are indirect CSP provider, Microsoft ISV Development Center, we are proud to be a gold certified partner for enterprise resource planning, application development, and cloud platform. And lastly, we are Microsoft Learning Partner. That means that we can provide you with learning material, or we can help you with learning all about Dynamics products, you name it. Basically, we can cover all of this different scenarios for you. So just contact us. We can provide you context at the end of the webinar. So yeah, let's jump to the actual features that were introduced. So the first one for me is vertical scrolling workspaces. This is one more of a visual change. Before, workspaces were in horizontal pattern basically, and now they are changed to be in a vertical and collapsible pattern. So yeah, it was introduced in platform update 25. It's available since April of this year. The reason for change was basically to improve usability and to have alignment with other Dynamics 365 products, because basically the horizontal pattern was to suit Windows 8 design. But of course, they noticed that it's not that very much useful for the users, and they changed it. And I think my personal opinion is that it's quite more comfortable to use. So yeah, if you would go to some of the standard workspaces, you would see that pattern version has increased to 1.1. So that's how you can distinguish if it's already upgraded. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's vertical and collapsible. And as for custom workspaces that you have built, you would need to migrate to new version manually. So I will go through some steps that you need to do. It's not that difficult, but I think you should keep that in mind if you want to keep up with this change. This is how it looked in the past. This is the old design. Yeah, it's kind of crowded. I guess difficult to see information, but now I think it's more tidy. You can even collapse some tabs that you don't want to see. So yeah, basically a visual change. And regarding that migration that you should do for your workspaces, it I guess primarily depends on what you have for your solution. If you have more than a lot of workspaces, then probably you would want to run a BP fixer tool command. Just put it in command prompt and it will do the migration automatically. Yeah, so it's not the whole process that is complete, but you would need to make some additional changes as well. So for group control in the link sections and for form part controls, you would need to make some additional changes. So keeping that in mind, because it might not look the way you wanted it to look. And another approach is by doing it manually. So basically, uh, if you would remove the old pattern and sub patterns for that form, and then select the, again, operational workspace pattern, you would have the new version. So basically it would update the version. If it doesn't suit your needs, if that pattern does not suit your needs, you can always just adjust some form controls to suit what you want to see. But basically, these are the steps that you can follow, not that difficult ones. One thing that you should note that you might start getting some error messages, basically compilation errors, or if you have run a BP fixer tool for that form. So what you need to do in this situation, you would just open the form and save it, and basically that would refresh the form and it will work as it should. Yeah, so basically save and compile the form and it will be okay. Yeah, and the next feature is new grid control capabilities. So I think this one is more suitable for useful for functional consultants or people that do a lot of testing, enter a lot of data. Personally, when I develop my stuff, I do the testing, and sometimes it can be very difficult to create those test cases. So I hope this will make it the process much more quicker. So yeah, this was introduced in platform update 25 and 24. Yeah, some features were introduced earlier. It was to improve productivity and maybe even make the views that you see in the grid more interesting. On the other hand, you can make this change disappear by implementing this code line, force legacy grid. You should paste this code after the super informs run method, and that will make the old view available again. So basically, that would be useful for you if you experience some difficulties or issues caused by this feature. And basically, let's jump to it, what it does exactly. First thing I try to do is copy and pasting values from the Excel. Yeah, so I tried that on the sales order. I have two columns, quantity and unit price. Yeah, so basically I entered the quantities I wanted and price and pasted it from the Excel, and yeah, it does what I was hoping for. And another interesting thing, if you, for example, have in this scenario 2 lines, but on the Excel you have 3 lines, it will create an additional line. So you can create even multiple lines that are not existing in the past. So yeah, and another thing that you should maybe keep in mind is that there's a new column. Basically, it describes the status for that line when you're pasting the values. It has 4 statuses. The blank one, the first line is the blank one. It means that this line is okay. There was no problem inserting the values. And the next one is process paused. That means that you're on this line and you're processing it. And in this case, I had a dialog popped up, which said that you need to do some additional steps. So basically, it was blocked, but it can be solved. So if I would just click on that link that you can see on the right, provide input here, you would solve the issue and then you would move to the next line. So the third line would be in process pending. So it's not yet inserted, it's not yet validated, nothing like that. So yeah, it's still waiting. And the last one is invalid state. So basically that means that the data is invalid and you should somehow fix the data or remove the line just because it's not valid anymore. So you should keep in mind that this process is asynchronous. It does not happen immediately, so you have to go line by line. So there's no other way of doing it. So basically, yeah, you would paste the values and go through all of the validations. Yeah, and another feature that was introduced is grouping by column. The same example, sales order. In this scenario, I tried grouping by the item number. So yeah, you can see that I had 3 lines. 2 of them were the same item number, so they are grouped. And this comes in useful when you total some quantity or amount. So in this case, I tried totaling quantity and net amount, and you can see that grouped items have their own total. So basically, it's kind of similar experience to Excel and probably SSRS reports. So yeah, it gives you more information that you would usually have. So that's quite useful. At least that's more interesting for me. And the last one is freeze column. So basically it behaves the same way that it does in Excel. You would freeze one column and you can go to the right and it just stays in the same place. So yeah, just a productivity tool, I would say. And the last one was you can now enter math expressions. So yeah, I just tried some simple math expression and it works. It calculates the value automatically. That wasn't here before. Yeah, the next one is saved views. Basically, it's some changes to saved views because saved views were already available in 2021. But for example, we have some changes for dialogues. We didn't have saved views on dialogues. Now we have. This was introduced in platform update 25. It will be on by default in platform update 29. Yeah, it must be enabled in feature management. There's a separate form for that. And in this example, I tried looking at creating a customer dialogue. So yeah, basically you can add new fields, make the existing fields invisible or make them mandatory. Just mess with the order and so on. So basically to suit your needs, you can basically hide the information that you don't want to see. And yeah, it's the new button on the top left corner, so you can save multiple views. And the next time you log in to this form page, you would select your view. And yeah, the same thing goes for saved views for workspaces. Uh, yeah, it is also now in previews in platform 25, and it is actually generally available in platform update 27. So yeah, this is also in feature management. This is available for both workspaces that are created by the user in the client and by development process in AOT. So basically, yeah, you can modify. Basically, you can modify the grid. You can mess with the fields. You can add new fields. You can make it them mandatory. Basically, the same thing that you can do for the dialogue. Yeah, maybe that use case is less relevant to most people, but it's there for you to use if you want it. This one, I think, it's more useful. This is in particular for form patterns that are for task single and task double pages. Basically, what it means, you can now save filters and sorts. So in this scenario, I went to general journals because it has this form pattern. Yeah, and I tried to filter one of the columns. So in this case, journal name. And other thing I try to do is to sort by journal number. Journal number. And yeah, and now you can save this view, and the next time you log in, we'll see the same data. Yeah, so it's generally available since platform update 25. It will be on by default in platform update 29. This is a kind of similar feature, only that it's also for queries and sorting and so on. But in this case, it is for custom filters. So by default, your custom filters will not be saved, cannot be saved to saved views. But they made a change. Basically, they introduced two new methods to the form that you can call to implement this saved view experience. So yeah, it's not even implemented for the standard form. So for example, in this general journals, it's not implemented. But if you want it to be implemented, you would need to do some development work for it and call those two methods and extend them. Yeah, that might be quite useful for some people as well, I think. Yeah, and the last one, I think at least this is the most interesting for me because it's the uh, it's not as other features. It basically means that you can run the scripts without deploying the code directly. You don't have any downtime. So basically, I think this should be useful if you are using integrations and you try to import some data and it messes some things up. And there's a situation that a user cannot fix the data. So basically, we have data inconsistencies. Maybe we have wrong legal entity. I don't know. Maybe we have wrong amounts, wrong quantities on transactions. So you most likely don't have capability to change the data. So what would you need to do is to uh, release a script that fixes this. And Microsoft has implemented a new feature that you can just upload a code, and that's it. You don't need to deploy anything. It will be executed. So this is available in preview since platform update 25. This is a in-flighting feature, so it's kind of different from other features. The name for it is App Consistency Custom Script Flight. So you would need to enable this flighting feature on your database. Uh, yeah, so basically, instead of going through LCS, you would upload X++ scripts or runnable classes, as we call them now. And after you have this feature enabled, a new form can be seen in System Administration module, periodic tasks, database, custom scripts form. Yeah. And what you need to do is basically to upload deployable package of that particular script that should fix your data. What's worth noting is that the code is not deployed to the environment. So you can do how many uploads of those deployable packages, but they will not be applied on your code base. So basically, you would not have some trash leftovers of objects. And I think that's quite thoughtful of them. Uh, and last thing that I want to note is that there are mandatory workflow validation. So basically, you cannot just run it. You have to validate that it does exactly what you want it to do. So let's go through the process. Uh, yeah, basically, you need to create a new model in AOT as a development, create a new runnable class that does exactly what you wanted it to do. So I would recommend doing as many validations as needed just to ensure that you are doing just the right thing. You can check if you are in the correct legal entity. You can check other things. And the sole purpose of this script should only be to fix your data inconsistencies. Yeah, and it must be only one class. Otherwise, it will not let you upload the deployable package. So keep that in mind. Uh, I think most of you know how to create a deployable package, but here I showed you just create a deployable deployment package, and that's it. You have the file, basically a zip file. So you would go to that form, you would click upload. You can enter a purpose for the script. It's basically a description, not that important. But during that phase, if you have invalid file, it will throw an error here, basically saying that it's corrupt. Yeah, so this is how it would look like when you upload it. You have status uploaded, you have the purpose that you enter, and you have events. Events basically log what happened during this process. So different people can do different functions in this form. So this particular field is for that. And we also have a log. So basically it's for execution, for running scripts and so on. So it gives you the output. And what's very important here is that the approval process and rejection can only be done by a different user that uploaded the file. So you cannot do all of those steps by yourself. Another person should double check if it's the correct script and it does what it should. Yeah, and after it's approved, you would run a test. You would do a test run basically. It will not do a commit. It will not insert or update any data. It would just try. And in the log, you will see what has happened. So in this case, you can see that the customer invoice journal was modified, and you can see the conditions that were used. So yeah, I specifically said that this record ID should be modified. So we have this information here. So after we have run the test, you can accept the test log. So this can be done by either the person who approved it or by you who uploaded it. Basically, doesn't matter at this point. And yeah, if everything's okay, you can just run the script. It will basically, it means that it actually does the commit and does the actual change. So you can see here that the custom voice drawer table was accessed one time. So this is all the information that you need just to verify that it did what you wanted it to do. And yeah, in the end, you can basically say if the purpose was resolved or unresolved. Additional thing that you can check is the event log. As I said before, here different users try to do different things. So basically that's what it says. So for the time being, this one is in preview. So you could not use that in production probably, but you can try to see how it would work in the future. But in the future, you could use that once it's generally available. But I would highly advise you to be very careful, just because not to break even more the system. You should do validations. You should make sure that you're updating just the right tables or inserting just the right data. So yeah, basically that's it. If you have any questions, we have a QA section. You can ask questions there. I will answer them. So far, no questions. Yeah, let's wait a few minutes. Let's see. Yeah, what about running? I think you should be able to see. What about running jobs with zero downtime? What would happen if the job would throw an error? Okay, so I think if you try to do a test run, it should probably throw an error, and you should have an error message in the log. And basically, I think the status would change to a state of failed. And basically, you would not be able to do anything else. You would need to create a new deployable package that has the correct code that fixes this issue, and you would need to upload it again and see if it works then. So yeah. Yeah, we can wait a few seconds, but so far we don't have anything else. Yeah, I think we can continue. Some few other things. You can download this slide as a PDF. You can go on your platform on the right. There are handouts section, and you will find the PDF for this. Yeah, and if you have anything, any problems with Dynamics products, or you need some help in development or upgrade processes, we are here to help, and we are here to exceed your expectations. So basically, you can contact us via email or just by visiting companion.com, or you can as well contact me on LinkedIn or write me an email. Yeah, if you have any questions on this topic that I presented, we can keep in touch. So yeah, that's it for today.